One of my annoying habits is to go onto Comic Link and look at the upcoming auctions. And I start making a spreadsheet for all the comics that are on my watch list and what I want to bid on. And as you guys probably already know, Comic Link is associated with another website called CertifiedLink, where non-comic books are auctioned off. And they usually have action figures, video games, VHS tapes, all kinds of random stuff. Well, I happened to be on Comic Link the other day, and I noticed that it says CertifiedLink auctions going now. And I was like, what? I didn't even know about it. They never advertised the CertifiedLink auctions. So this is the action figure grader, and we're back with you for the results for a CertifiedLink auction that I found out about the night before the auctions were ending. And I got some really good deals that I'm going to show you on a couple of 3 loose graded vintage Star Wars figures, but I wanted to show you some of the items that sold, and there were some really good deals. I also included some non-Star Wars stuff that I thought were interesting enough to talk about. Some of the prices on the video games were absolutely ridiculous, and I found some Secret Wars that were graded. So it wasn't a big auction, but there was some cool stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look. This is one of the ones that I did pick up last night in the CertifiedLink auction. This is one, as you guys already know, if you watch the channel, that I've been kind of wanting. I wanted a small head Han, molded legs, Hong Kong, and this was an AFA 85. Beautiful example. And I got it for a really great deal. $167 for an AFA 85 new K-style small head Han. So now the other great thing about CertifiedLink, it's just like Comic Link. The buyer's premium is only 3%. So for all 3 figures that I picked up, the buyer's premium was a total of $16. It was a bargain. And the shipping is also pretty good. Up to 3 figures, that's the limit before the shipping really increases. So for 3 figures or 3 video games or whatever it is, it's $35 for me anyway. It was $35 ship, and there's also no sales tax. So I got some really big bargains here. So $167 for an AFA 85 small head Hong Kong Han, molded legs. That was a bargain in my mind. I was very happy with that. Here was a dark brown paint Hong Kong Tusken Raider, new K-style. This one was graded AFA 85, and that one sold for $146. So you just never know when you're going to find some great deals out there, and I'm really happy that I just happened upon it. So this was a brand new K-style Hammerhead, just a standard Hammerhead Hong Kong AFA 85 though. That one sold for $80. $80 on that. So there was just some really good deals. Now here's one I did bid on. It was kind of a half-hearted bid, so I didn't win it. But this was a 2-1B medical droid AFA 85 flat finish. But as you can see on the photo here, maybe you can't, but there was a kind of a small scratch on the back of the figure, right above the clear torso piece. And also the torso was starting to yellow a little bit. So I didn't really make a massive bid on it, but that was a variant that I don't have. So I threw out a $100 bid. It did not win. It sold for $120. So still not a bad price. I just figured because it wasn't really a great AFA 85 and because it was starting to yellow on the torso, at least in the photos, I decided to kind of half-heartedly bid on it. So I didn't win that one. Here was another one that went for a cheap deal. This was the Silver Hollow Eyes AFA 85 IG88. That sold for $85, which again was a really good deal. You know, this is the more common of the 2 silver Hong Kong IG88s. Almost all the ones that you find out there for the silver IG88 have these hollow eyes right below the red eyes. There's these 2 little prongs that stick out, and those are hollow. So that's the most common variation, and one I already had in my collection. So that one was a good deal, $85. But here was the one I wanted, and I did buy. This is the silver Hong Kong IG88 with just the non-hollowed eyes. So it's harder to find this one. I don't know why. I don't know if they just were produced in lower numbers or only at one specific Hong Kong factory. But you don't find this one come up very much, and so when I saw that one available, I was like, I better grab it now because I've only seen a couple of them over the last year or so that are these Hong Kong silver paint apps with the non-hollow eyes. Now, the other one that comes with the non-hollow eyes is the gray body. That's pretty easy to find as well, but this silver one, I wanted to go ahead and grab. So I had to pay a lot of money for it. It sold for $170. And I was willing to pay that just because I don't see it pop up very much. And clearly the market agreed with me that, you know, this one is tougher to find, given that it sold for about double what the Hollow Eyes Silver Hong Kong IG88 sells for. So that's my 7th loose graded IG88. So when some of these come back, I'll let you know. So those two I did pick up, the Han Solo small head and this silver IG88 with the non-hollow eyes. I did pick up one more, and I'll show you in a second. This was an older case style, and some of the ones that were sold in this auction were the older case style, but this was an AFA 85 standard Hong Kong 4-LOM. There was nothing rare, really, that I could see in terms of the loose grading in this auction, but this was a 4-LOM, and this one sold for $40. $40 for an AFA 85 4-LOM. And this is a really good example of a figure that, you know, you could buy, wait for AFA to open up, get it recased for whatever it is, 25 bucks, and you got a really good deal on that. You know, 40 plus 25 plus shipping to and back. That's still going to be under 100 bucks for an AFA 85 4-LOM once it's all said and done. So, you know, once you recase it, if you wanted to, you don't have to recase it. I mean, this is a perfectly awesome figure. For an AFA 85 4-LOM for $40, you can't beat that. That's an amazing deal. Here was a beige torso Admiral Akbar Hong Kong AFA 85 brand new case style. That one sold for $112. Just, you know, these just happened to fall underneath the radar. Here was another one. This was Chief Chirpa Hong Kong AFA 85 plus. AFA 85 plus on that one. That one sold for 80 bucks. $80. So I've got to do a better job of making people aware of these auctions. And again, I would have if I had known about them. I just didn't know about these auctions whatsoever. And I just happened upon it. Here was the other big one I got, and I was not expecting to get this one for the price I did, but this is a molded face Luke Jedi. And this one was an AFA 85 Taiwan. So this is the harder to find molded face. So molded in the molded hair, molded, I guess it's molded hair, I don't know, but it's a molded face, not painted face, Taiwan. I always considered this to be one of the more expensive variants, but I was able to grab this one for $226, which, again, I consider that to be an absolute home run of a deal. And we'll see how it looks when it gets here. You know, I can't tell if it's my dirty monitor or if there was some dirt on the face there. So it might be a lower quality AFA 85 Taiwan, but to me, to get an AFA 85 molded face Taiwan for $226, even if it's kind of slightly flawed and towards the lower end of what I consider to be an AFA 85, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That to me is a bargain deal, and I'm very happy to get that one. Here was the other big, this is kind of the last big Star Wars action figure item that did sell. It's odd to me how there was all just kind of all this common loose graded Star Wars figures, and then boom, they bring out a mint and sealed box Empire Strikes Back Millennium Falcon with the Bespin photo. This one was an AFA 80 and mint and sealed box. This is not qualified. So this one did sell as well, and it was just the only kind of packaged item, or there were no mint on cards. This one sold for $2,600, an AFA 80 Millennium Falcon. To me, that is a bargain for the Empire Strikes Back packaging. So somebody got a really good deal on that one. Bespin photo, Millennium Falcon, $2,600 on that one. I also did want to show you a few Secret Wars items that sold. This is the Marvel Secret Wars Turbocopter. This is from Series 2. I never really had any of the Series 2 stuff. I did collect and play with, to my heart's content, with these figures growing up. I loved the Secret Wars. I had the action figure carrying case, and I had pretty much all of the Series 1 figures. I loved these figures. And I did have some mint on cards in my collection for a while, before I focused on Star Wars. But this was the Turbocopter graded AFA 75. You can see how that looks there. Very cool. That was graded AFA 75. That one sold for $276. And then here was the other playset that sold. This is called the Freedom Fighter. Kind of a strange rotating platform. very bizarre toy, but you know, Mattel was kind of just trying to get anything they could out there, and they kind of just threw this together, is my guess. But this one was graded AFA 85, and that one sold for $456. But this was not particularly beloved from Secret Wars collectors. I think the Doom base, the Dr. Doom's base, was probably the biggest playset item off the top of my head that was pretty coveted. But this was AFA 85, so very high grade, and it sold for $456. This one is coveted. This is a Series 2 Heroes 3-pack. And these 3-packs were not very common. This one included Daredevil, the Black Suit Spidey, and Captain America. So 3 pretty desirable heroes in this 3-pack. It was yellowed, and it was graded AFA 70. So the figures were graded 70. Why, I have no idea. The window was 70. The box was 80. So nice display piece, and probably displays better than an overall AFA 70. But this one did sell for $602 despite the 70 yellowed grade. So these 3-packs I know were not very plentiful, and they are always coveted by collectors. So very cool item there. And they just had random, I think they had kind of random figures. They were not all these particular characters, if memory serves, but I am not a Secret Wars expert. But that shows you how expensive they are, that even a 70 grade got $602. Now, I also did want to show you some AFA graded video games, or VGA graded video games. VGA is a subset of AFA, or, you know, like a division of AFA that grades video games. This was a 1989 Super Mario Brothers 2 AFA 90. So you knew this was going to be expensive. This one sold for $9,600. So even despite kind of the downturn in video games, you know, there was a lot of scandals with WATA and how a lot of people felt like there was shill bidding for WATA. And I'm going to have more on shill bidding in another video here soon. There was some shill bidding on eBay that I wanted to cover in another video from a seller that had some Lily Lettys, and I'm almost positive that there were shill bidding going on. So probably, I don't know when this comes out, but probably the next day, tomorrow, I'll do a video on that. But anyway, back to Super Mario Brothers. You know, there was a lot of WATA graded video games last year, or maybe during COVID, that there was a lot of shenanigans going on, and some of the prices were insane, and they were going for like $300,000 and just crazy prices. But anyway, Super Mario Brothers 2 is not as coveted, obviously, as Super Mario Brothers 1, but still, this is an AFA 90 and sold for $9,600. The other big ones that sold, an AFA 90 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is probably the first version. This has got the official Nintendo seal, so this is probably the very first version of TMNT, and a very high grade. That one sold for $11,750. Here was Super Mario or Mario Kart 64. So this was for the N64. This one was an AFA 85 plus for Mario Kart 64. That one sold for $14,250. And then here was the coup de grace, so to speak. This is the original issue, Legend of Zelda from 1988. And this one was an AFA 90. And we all know how coveted Legend of Zelda is. This one sold for $31,000. So, again, not like, you know, the Star Wars items, there wasn't a big batch of them, but I did want to at least show you some of the cool items that sold for steals of a deal. And, you know, it was just one of those auctions that fell underneath the radar. I did not see any advertising for it whatsoever on Facebook. And I do regularly see on Instagram as well as Facebook when the big auctions happen for Comic Link. But at least these certified link auctions did not did not show up on any of my radar. And I just happened upon it just randomly and was able to get some really good deals on some loose graded vintage Kenner items. So I'll be sure to show those when those arrive in the next week or two on the channel. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at some of the awesome sales there, and maybe next time when they have their certified link auction, I think there's one coming up for spring. This was kind of their winter auction, and when the next one happens, I'll try to do a preview video so at least people are alerted to it, and you guys can hopefully get some good deals like I did in this last auction. Thanks as always for watching. Please leave a like if you liked the video, and I'll be back soon.